So I had a friend who shared this story with me, and she basically said that she, in her, I want to say, her early to mid-20s, went on a extreme diet where she was extremely vegan and only raw food. And she was like that for many years, and she said that she felt really, really good, and she felt like her body was just amazing. It looked amazing and everything. She was really thin, she was really beautiful. She felt really great. But one day she was riding her bike and she noticed that she was grinding her teeth. She wasn't just grinding them, her jaw was just like and I thought that was interesting when she was telling me that. She told me after that she realized that she felt like her diet was so restrictive and so controlled, because she wouldn't allow herself to eat anything that she wanted to. There was no room for leeway in there. There was no intuitive eating whatsoever. It was like just so rigid and so strict and so portions are controlled. Everything was just as so. And after years of doing that, it was almost like her body was like freaking out on her and her jaw was just clenched. And for me, studying somatic therapies in my early 20s, and that's like where my education started, and then it kind of progressed and moved forward from there. Your jaw has to do with anger. It's your mouth, but people that have really tight jaws in this area and that muscle just super tightens up, it usually has to do with being really pissed off and really angry. And I thought it was interesting that for her, it started for her, she identified it, I guess you should say. She identified it with her eating and her really strict diet, and she had to figure out something different for herself. And when your eating habits become more of a punishment or a confinement, it's almost like jailing yourself and saying you're only allowed to eat this and this only. There is a thing with intuitive eating, and sometimes you need to allow yourself just to do what your body says it needs to do, or your emotions sometimes are speaking to you, and sometimes you need to just listen. And I'm not saying like let them rule your life, because you shouldn't let your emotions rule your life, but sometimes they're in place for a reason, and sometimes you're feeling things for a reason, and maybe you should listen to that. Part of that is to understand what it is you're feeling or why it is that you're feeling, is allowing yourself A, to feel it, and then B, try to figure out where it stems from or try to find an understanding with it. And to do that, you kind of need to listen to what it is that you're saying to yourself.